Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very well and enjoying your weekend. I wanted to make a video about the ownership, Todd Boehly as well, his comments. He was speaking at the Financial Times Football Summit, and wow, I am shocked. I'm so shocked. And to be honest with you, it's taken me a couple of days to really digest it. I have given my thoughts on it on the channel, but not really fully understanding everything. Sometimes you need to take a step back to get the bigger picture and see that actually everything was a lot more aligned than I could ever realize within this ownership group. And a lot of fans said Boehly's going to be the savior of Chelsea. He is the man that's going to save Chelsea. Clearlake are the problem. They're the ones that we need to get out. And Boehly is going to solve our problems. He's the man who wants to invest, who wants to win. He doesn't just care about money, he also cares about success. What a load of waffle. We are now in a situation where our owners are going to use Chelsea to get whatever it is they want. And the worst thing about it is that they do both want different things. I really believe that. But they are all part of the same thing. It's all financial. It's all about money. Clearlake, they are a hedge fund. They're a private equity company, private equity firm. Their job is to make money for their investors, for their shareholders. That is what they will do with Chelsea. They will use Chelsea in order to 2x or if not 3x their return on what they paid for the club. There's no other reason you invest £2.5 billion. I know that was joint with the other consortium. There's no other reason that you pay that money if you don't believe you're going to make a lot more back. So that's what they're going to do. And we've seen Clearlake talking about the Brighton model and sustainable businesses and business value is more important than success on the pitch. And you've had Boehly come out and say things as well, but you almost brush it under the carpets at times. But we've seen all of this stuff publicly in front of us. And now we have to open our eyes to it, that we are in a serious predicament. Now, Boehly hasn't addressed anything to do with Vivid Seats. We don't have any clarity on that situation. What I think he should have done really is at least declared it before he come in. And then he could have waived his right to vote on any issue at Chelsea regarding ticketing. I don't know what's happening there. So maybe we'll see an update with regards to Vivid Seats. I do feel like that's an important issue, especially to a lot of match-going fans who want to go and are being priced out. And also, you know, Boehly hasn't separated himself from Clearlake, but he also hasn't committed his future to Chelsea. Or committed any future. Like, nobody really knows what he meant, because they said, is the ownership going to be the same in a year's time? And he said, I don't know. Anything can happen. A lot of people were insinuating that he's going to sell. I think the opposite. I think he wants to buy. I think Boehly wants to buy out Clearlake. I think he wants to have the majority of control at Chelsea. I believe that both are as bad as each other in different ways. And this is something that I was totally oblivious to until recently. And I'm glad I've opened my eyes up to it. But I'm also disappointed with myself because I didn't know this previously. So what do I mean by that? You have Clearlake again. They want to take Chelsea, they bought it, and they sell it for a profit. That's what they're going to do. Full stop. That's the end of it. By 2033, Clearlake want to sell. I'm almost 100% sure of that. Right? They are a private equity firm. They don't want to stay involved in this business forever. They just want to get their money and get out. And they don't care how they do it. Boehly, I believe, wants to be a part of Chelsea for a long time. There's been sources coming out saying this as well, maybe a year ago or 6 months ago, whatever it was, when apparently there was a rift between the two. As far as I was aware, Boehly tried to raise the money to buy out Clearlake, but couldn't raise it. And he said, or sources close to him have said that, you know, he wants to be a part of Chelsea for the next 20, 30 years, and he's excited about that prospect. Why is that? That you have one owner who wants to just get in and get out, and you have one owner who wants to stick around. And why are they both as bad as each other as well? Well, the first reason is because they're both doing it for financial gain. That's number one. The second reason is they're not doing it for the benefit of the club. They're doing it for the benefit of themselves. And again, it comes back to finances. But what Boehly, I believe, wants to do is more similar to the Glazers than Clearlake. And in the short term, Clearlake are hurting Chelsea a lot more because, well, they've already ripped out the experience. And Boehly's been a part of this, of course he has. They've taken experience from Chelsea. They've downgraded in terms of all of the staff around the club. The standards aren't as high. And we are now a more sustainable business model because of that. And they'll continue to cut wages. You've got to remember, we've got players like Sterling and Chilwell and Nkunku. All of these players are still on the books. And they want to clear that out and replace them with players on 100k a week, if not less, contracts that are extremely capped on long contracts as well, which a 7-year deal is not even a 7-year deal. It's more like a 5-year deal, because if a player doesn't sign an extension, they will be sold. That's what's essentially the model. That's what Boehly's come out and said. I believe that Boehly wants to stay a part of Chelsea because he wants to be a part of the Americanization of football. He wants to be a part of the Americanization of the Premier League. He's actually said this as well. He didn't say those exact words, but his actions and what he's saying, they imply exactly that. He understands that there's not going to be any relegation. So he says, why doesn't every Premier League team have shares each season? And if you get relegated, you still hold on to those shares. Why do you want shares in the Premier League? Why? I'll tell you why. Because it allows more withdrawals of revenue. It raises another form of an income for this ownership. It's like a dividend, essentially. If you have a share, you get paid out a dividend every year, and that's another way of making money. He's already taking 20 million out of the club every year as a chairman. That will then get passed on. And yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. It's shocking, guys. I honestly thought that maybe we'd hear something slightly different, or maybe a little bit more ambitious. But he says we're sticking to the plan. The trend is moving in the right direction. The trend is what? 0 trophies. No trophies. That's the trend I'm seeing. Also, I think a lot of Chelsea fans would have appreciated if Boehly had come out and said this to Chelsea fans directly. Whatever it is he was going to say. Like, we would have appreciated it more if it had been at the CPO or the Chelsea Supporters Trust. There's a lot of different angles that you can take to gain the respect of supporters, but constantly ignoring us, basically saying that you don't care about how unhappy the fans are, because he said you're not going to make everyone happy. That's just part of it. You're saying you don't care. That's not what you want to hear from an owner. You hear more from Boehly than you hear from any of the others, but he is not saying good things. He is not saying things that are going to benefit Chelsea. He's saying things that are going to essentially just benefit himself in the long term. And people talk about the Americanization of the Premier League. It is on its way. I do believe that we're on the way to having one broadcaster covering everything, and that will allow more money to be made digitally, which will also give the clubs even more pull. We're heading down a road where it's all about money. It's all about money. What else did he say? He also said that going to a striker is like going in a grocery store. You can't just find a good striker. We had a good striker. We had Victor Osimhen. We just didn't want to pay him. Which grocery store are we shopping at? Are we shopping in Aldi, Lidl, or are we going to Waitrose, for fuck's sake? You're in West London, Chelsea. Go to Waitrose. Spend the money. If you don't know what Waitrose is and you're not from England, Waitrose is an expensive shop where you buy food. Chelsea don't shop at Waitrose these days. Let's just put it like that. And yeah, we're going to continue to follow this same model. Nothing is going to change. I am so concerned. I'm concerned if we don't get Champions League football. I'm concerned that our goalkeeping department isn't good enough. I'm concerned that the only competent goalkeeper we have we're going to sell for 25 million, only 11 million more than we paid for him. I'm concerned about a number of things. I'm concerned about a lot of these things. So let me know what you think, guys, about, you know, the owners. What do you think about the two? I personally think that the only difference really is that you have one that's here for a short-term gain and to pull out a lot of money as quickly as they can. And you have another owner who wants to gradually drip the club of its resources over a period of 20 or 30 years, like the Glazers, essentially. And I think that's what Boehly's planning on doing. And I think that's one of the reasons he's interested in the Americanization of football. So the argument is, do you still want Boehly to buy out Clearlake? Or do you just want to ride out this 7 years? Or do you need to find a way to get rid of both of them? People saying that Blueco can still be sold, which I'm not sure entirely about. The other option is that in 7 years, when Clearlake sell, it's only those shares that get sold, and Boehly is still a minority shareholder at Chelsea. And that could give another owner the opportunity to try and change things and have full control of the club as well. So let me know what you think, guys. And we'll catch up soon.